Welcome to this healing video, which will clear clown energy, any kind of cursed mirror energy in your energy field or in mirrors around your house or any other physical location. I will then go through and clear and then integrate different versions of yourselves. These versions of selves will be, and I will talk about this more in detail as we get to it. And also, we won't start off with the selves unless you're playing this video again, then you've already set what you're doing. But we'll talk about the selves when we get to them. So it will be the fear self, mirror self, water self, action self, and social self. Essentially, rather than having different aspects of ourselves as one whole unit, they get splintered. I will just talk more about this later on. So we're going to start off with clowns. Now, if you're watching this, you're on Earth, you probably know what a clown is. Do I need to explain? I will now, just in case some 4-year-old has clicked on this video, a clown is usually a person who has put on a bunch of white makeup and then usually has a red nose and a rainbow wig and very silly, elaborate clothing. That is what a clown is, right? At least that's the physical 3D version of a clown. Now, I do not know the history of clowns, and I don't think anyone does, for it's not really been... maybe it was recorded. I haven't looked it up. I don't really care, because here's the real truth of clowns, right? Now, clowns are a negative energetic race. Essentially, right, you've heard of demons, you've heard of ghosts, you've heard of praying mantises. There are a negative entity race in this matrix with us that are clowns. I believe the physical clowns that we have on Earth were, I'd say the conception of them, the idea of them, was put into people by the clown entities. And this goes a lot, you know, a big question is where do ideas come from? And often, if you're an artiste, if you're a painter, a sculptor, and you're painting and you go, yes, I will draw the most heinous demon ever, and it will be terrifying. It's usually just a demon right behind him. He's going, yes, draw me. One funny memory comes to mind. I was sleeping, this was 4 years ago, and you may have seen these African sculptures where they're like people, but they're square and rectangle, and their heads are huge, and their noses out of proportion, and they've got one over here and one over there, and you think, wow, they are really bad at art. This is terrible. This doesn't look anything like a person. No, that is, I mean, they're not the best at art. At least not back then. What they've created are real entities, because I was sleeping and I woke up and something that looked exactly like their sculptures, even the height was the same, you know, it was about this big, was standing in front of my door and just started essentially shooting out of its eyes a trance type energy, which was trying to give me the idea that I should paint it. Now I immediately went, all right, they're not going to put up with this. A lot of artistic creations, especially, you know, essentially the negative ones, and clowns, they don't really seem that negative. They're not supposed to be, are just negative entities putting thoughts in there. And now, certainly not all ideas and not all creations. A lot of painting, a lot of art can come from your soul. It can come from a lot of it's soul, but if it's negative, it's usually had some negative interference that's put it into your mind. And if, you know, you're drawing a person, but you get all the proportions wrong, and you're not just a really bad artist, that's not you who's deciding to draw that way. So, clowns themselves, the negative energy, the negative energy and the frequency. Now, the way negative energy works is, even if you're someone who's never trained energy, but let's say you enter a circus and a clown walks by, and this clown, he's got terrible energy, right? A physical clown, right? This is a real person. It walks by you and you're like, oh, this guy feels terrible. His energy, even though you've not trained yourself to see it, has just gone, usually a rainbow frequency that has a lot to do with bipolar and manic depression, has just walked by and gone, and then he's walked off as you've exited. As he's walked out of your field. And even if you're shielded, if somebody in your physical presence enters your field, there is an energetic connection, and usually that just bypasses your shield. There are ways to shield against it, but it's not really through fundamental shielding. So, as you get stronger, you can be across the room and you can just see that this clown walks by someone and blah, it hits them. Now, you're not seeing them with your physical eyes, most likely you're seeing it in your mind, but especially if you're with someone else who can see or feel energy, it's, you know, very apparent. You're both seeing the same thing. the same clown, right? It is very much real. And then as you train, it'll become more apparent. But clown energy is essentially a rainbow energy. It usually causes mania, then followed by a come down of depression. Often people, when they're in a manic state, will... I'm thinking of an aunt, to be precise. She would go and buy way too much, and she was not rich, right? She could not afford to buy a whole bunch of stuff. And then she would feel absolutely on top of the world, but like, and it's a crazy on top of the world. Not a happy on top of the world, a crazy on top of the world. And then a day or two later, oh no, what have I done? Crash, and she's depressed. So clowns are really, really common in this matrix. They're about as common as demons. They're, no, not that far. I'd say for every 10 demons, you get 2 clowns. But that shows there are a lot of clowns in this matrix. In general, can you have manic depression without clowns? Yes, but it's pretty much always clowns, because demons, they don't want you to be manic depressed. They just want you to be depressed. Same with ghosts, same with aliens. But clowns, no, they want you, it's their individual tactic is they want you to basically, you know, really improve and, you know, be in a crazy state and then crash. Clown energy, you'll often see it'll manifest in people if they, you've most likely seen this. If somebody, for example, if they've got an abusive parent and they're hitting them, rather than crying from a lot of pain, this happens to small children, they'll be laughing because they have clown energy partially possessing them because they're in a state of trauma, and that allows for more easily temporary possession. It also happens with adults. You crash your car, that's a bit extreme. All right, you don't crash your car, you burn your toast, and rather than crying about it and being really sad, you are like giggling, and you're like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but their stress reaction is some kind of crazy manic giggling. That is clown energy. It's really, really common. If anyone has any questions about clown energy as we go, feel free to talk. Joseph's just said there's a horrible depressing energy at the moment. Yeah, there's annoying astrology energy, but right now I can see you're feeling clown energy. As clown energy clears, especially if it's been propping you up, kind of like caffeine, usually it won't try and make you manic while you're watching the video, because you're more likely to just keep watching it. It will try and make you feel irritable, angry, like, oh, I don't need to listen to this, depressed, and then you're not going to turn it off, but you're going to push through, and you're going to put up with the clowns messing with you. But that's most likely what you're going to feel. I think if I have anything else to talk about with clowns, I mean, clowns are really, really common, but a lot of it just boils down to mania. They're the main cause of mania. I remember, in particular, I'm trying to think how to say this without getting anyone in trouble. So, when I was I'm going to say 13, 14, I may have had sleeping pills. I may have. And they may have worked the first few times. And then they may not have worked, because after a while, I had a lot of targeting, but in particular with, I had really bad insomnia growing up, thanks to my dad's energy and being around his frequency, and him having insomnia and him not taking any energetic accountability, and then getting drunk and throwing that energy at me a lot of the time. I would deal with insomnia. So I took sleeping pills, and I was laying there, and I like nearly asleep, and then I could just feel what I now know to be clown energy. Its energy was stronger than the pills, the energetic equivalent of pills. So if you take a pill, it both exists physically and energetically, and they can mess with it energetically to very much mitigate and, in extreme cases, almost fully stop the effects of the pill. So you've taken the sleeping pill, and then the clown energy is stronger than the pill, and then I was laying in bed at who knows what hour, hearing carnival music in my head, and not even a real song, like a clown song. Not often negative entities, they'll take a songs recorded using the negative frequency, and they'll play it in your head. This was not a song I'd heard. This was just carnival music and looping. I won't repeat the lyrics. That would be very, well, I could say it without the energy, but I don't feel there's a need to. But I'm laying there and I went, well, this is annoying. Not only can I not sleep, but now I'm really high from sleeping pills. And that was clown energy. So if you're walking around and you're hearing carnival music in your head, that is clown energy. It's not going to be demons. Demons aren't going to put carnival music in your head. I was sitting there and I wasn't trying to picture this, but I was just seeing fairground rides and even though I knew, or no, I didn't know on a conscious level about entity realms and other things, I hadn't figured that out yet, but I was like, why am I in a large room that's like a, with mirrors everywhere? And then clowns would come out and I would just look around, a bit confused, and the giant clown heads. Essentially, it was like I was on drugs, right? But they were sleeping pills. I'd not taken any drugs. But usually, if you're on a drug trip, I don't do drugs because I don't see any need to. And there's a few other major reasons as well. But if you're on a drug trip, or if you're not on a drug trip, but you are you'll be trying to sleep and you will be pulled into an energy realm that says it's a clown realm. If you've not built up any energetic strength, you're not really sure what's going on. You usually just look around and go, what is this? And then if they start hitting you, you might try and fight back. But once you're aware of what's going on, you're not just going to be a passive bystander. You'll start going, all right, well, I'm going to destroy this clown realm so I can get some sleep. Does anyone have any questions about that? People that develop schizophrenia, are they targeted by negative entities? That is a very loaded question. The answer is yes, and if medication helps, definitely use it. The main thing is, and this goes for all medication, not just with schizophrenia, but schizophrenia is about the most extreme case. And schizophrenia, clowns don't usually cause schizophrenia. They want you to be like Robin Williams. They want you to be bouncing off the walls one day, and then the next day, really, really suicidal. But if you have schizophrenia and you're on medication for it, and often I can understand this, not that I've had schizophrenia, but I used to have acid reflux, and I was on pills for it, and I wanted to stop them because I was clearing myself up energetically, but I didn't want to like go down to half the dose. I would just not take them and then have reflux, and then take them and it would go away, and eventually I got to the point where I didn't need them, and I haven't needed them for years. But the important thing, if you're on any kind of heavy medication for really any depression, anxiety, and it is helping, right? Now, you don't want to be on it for life, but if it is helping, do not immediately go, oh, all right, I'm feeling great. I can feel I've had a boost from the energy while you're still on the pills. Do not immediately drop all of them together, right? Maybe decrease your dose by a very slight amount and be very, very mindful and clear. I've just noticed I've got like a green... What is on my nose? I bathed before this. Come on. Anyway, yes, do not just drop it all together. Decrease it by a very small amount and be very, very mindful. See if there is even the slightest dip. If there is, keep it as is. Do not change it. A lot of this is with energy work is be patient, right? Keep training. Don't, be consistent. But don't try and rush through major changes like dropping any medication. What's my reason for doing this energy video now? Because I felt like doing a video and I didn't want to talk about anything too elaborate or dark. I wanted to do a nice light one, which is why I picked clowns, because it's a pretty easy topic to talk about. And it does need a clearing video. It really does. They're really common. How does medication, how does medication energetically work, Clover asks? Well, essentially, the medication exists in both a physical form and an energy form. So you take it physically and then it also goes into your energy body, and the energy of the pill works that way, which is often, if you are quite energetically strong and energetically sensitive, you can take a sleeping pill and the energy will work straight away. And especially if the pain is energetically based before it's primarily physical based, it will hit the pain. The pain may go away in a minute or two, whereas if you were relying on it physically, that would not happen as it's not properly got into your system yet. So that's in general how it works. This is a pretty loaded question, and why not? Joyful User says, if you are dead or hopefully ascended as Jesus, I am not Jesus. So that's not going to happen. But, and I don't plan to rise from the dead. I may, but I'm not planning on it. Will I be visiting us as an energy? Shall you then treat me as Ascended Master? No. Ascended Masters don't do that. They usually, first of all, it's pretty much always, I've never seen it not be Reptilians pretending to be one of them. So no, if I am dead, Do not try and connect to me. Train your own energy. Use the healing videos. These are perfectly safe. Don't go talking to any reptilians thinking it's me. Can I make this energy work with people and pets in the same rooms? Yes, it does. I need to make a video. I could even do it after this one. Now I can actually think clearly. I've got like my own space. Yes, I need to make a video that will be, here is how healing videos work. Yes, this will affect your space as well. Correct. Good. Anything else to talk about with clowns? If I think about it, I may just bring it up. But that's about it. Now we're going to talk about mirror energy. So, talk about energetically first. Often, if you just, in your mind, if you're energy training, you picture a mirror inside it, just in your consciousness, you just picture a mirror, you will see essentially a mirror world in there that it's not unlimited, but it will be very, very expansive. And usually there'll be a lot of monsters in there, a lot of negative entities. Now, this is because, essentially, if you've tried to energetically clear and charge crystals or like a ring or anything, you will usually charge it and then you will go, oh, it's full. And then you'll need to increase the density of the energy and decrease the size of it, right? And then you can fit more in. But with mirrors, there's an absolutely huge energetic... I wouldn't say it starts off huge. It's more like a mirror is flat, and then if I were to go to put energy into it, or if a negative entity was, then it will just open up into a space which will just keep expanding and expanding and expanding. Which is why, if you've ever heard of any occultic stuff, they'll say, never keep any mirrors in your house. In my old house, I think was there a mirror in the bathroom? If there was, I didn't know. There was a mirror in the bathroom cupboard. No, there wasn't actually. There was. I could see myself in the reflection of the shower. There were no mirrors there. I have a mirror in my bathroom now, but now I'm perfectly fine. I'm pretty strong. I can have my mirrors actually be useful to me and reflect energy back. So mirrors will work as both a large energy storage and as a major reflection for energy. So this world's pretty dark, especially at the moment, which means that most mirrors are just soaking up negative energy just from the surroundings. And if you're targeted, they're definitely targeting your mirrors and messing with you that way. My cat's in the background. Julian, come here, come on. He's not going to play. But yes, they'll target your mirrors. I have a mirror right here. I have this big wardrobe door, which you cannot see, but it's right there. You'll have to believe me. And my energy, just from my presence, has made this mirror absolutely expansive, and it absorbs my energy without so much as... I wouldn't say it doesn't take it, but it absorbs the energy in the room without actually really affecting the room. Like it would certainly not noticeable, and then it becomes more and more expansive. So if you're in a haunted house or just really anywhere cursed, mirrors will soak up energy and become very cursed. And then if it's not a mirror that's a wardrobe, if it's like a handheld mirror or any kind of portable mirror, and it, let's say like you've got a crazy witch grandma, right? And then she dies and she leaves you her gold mirror. It's going to be one cursed mirror. I mean, if it's gold, that's a lot easier to fix up than if it was like lead, which has a negative energetic. What did I used to call it? The thing, the percentage for energy charging it, and negative energy and positive energy into it. Somebody tell me. But if you get a mirror that somebody else had for years, yeah, there's usually going to be a lot of their energy in it, and it's going to be quite cursed if they're negative. If they're not, right? If she wasn't a witch grandma, she was a nice grandma and thought mostly positive things, and her house felt inviting, and it was a true inviting, then the mirror will usually feel inviting. But that's not what this video is for. So if you have any cursed mirrors, this will clear it. Now, essentially, the main thing for this is most people, hopefully you don't have that many cursed mirrors around. Inside of your energy, mirrors are often set up energetically. Let's say you have you're experiencing a trauma and you're just, they're having you think about the energy. The mirror will come out. It will be used. They'll set up a mirror energetically that will absorb some of that energy, and then they'll store it, and then they may just keep it for 3 or 4 months or even, the anniversary of it, and then just use some of that mirror energy out to hit you, you start thinking about it again, and then it's making a profit off the energy. So mirrors are really, really commonly used by pretty much most negative entities to attack people. It's also used by people that use curses, voodoo, etc. All of that. They use mirrors very commonly. Hello, you want to say hi? My cat had kittens, didn't she? And this is my kitten. I am keeping him. This is the Northern Blade. He's a very good kitten. He's very well behaved. He's not jumped on any of the lights yet or knocked over any of the cables, and he only tried to eat them twice while I was setting up for this. He's very well behaved. Trying to think what else. Oh, so with mirrors in particular, and breaking mirrors, right? When it comes to that, they say, you know, it's bad luck. Essentially, objects have a kind of base consciousness. And when it comes to mirrors, they get really angry if they're broken. So a mirror could be really cursed, and as you just walk around, just like with a clown, you walk through its energy field, and it just puts a bit of stuff on you, and then you keep walking, and it's annoying. But if I can, and this doesn't just go for mirrors, it also goes for glass and reflections, but you know, that's what a mirror is, it's a glass reflection. When I used to go to the gym in Australia, I remember one of the big, not mirrors, but the, like, they had glass windows that were full length. Somebody must have thrown a weight into it, and this window was just smashed into smithereens. And this window, every time I was walking in that part of the gym, it would always be hitting negative energy at me because it was mad that the glass was broken. It's something to do with the coded consciousness of mirrors that if you break them, they will attack you. And that's how you end up with bad luck, because a lot of bad luck is negative energy attacking you, right? If you go to some island, thinking of a few clients, you go to Hawaii, some, you know, Hawaiian island or some island off of the coast of Australia that's cursed, and you come back and it's cursed, and suddenly everything goes wrong. And it's like you're on a, you know, bad luck voyage. You're on a bad luck voyage, all right? It's because you've gone somewhere cursed, you've picked up a lot of negative energy, and it is actively making your life worse. Now, it's not bad luck. There are just things you can't see, which are making things harder for you. No, don't touch the microphone. No. That is not... Be good. Be good. I'm just thinking of anything else to talk about with mirrors. There are, but they're all like... they're things you don't need to know. They're quite dark. Is there anything not that dark? Not really. Anybody have any questions about mirrors? Or mirror energy? Or glass energy? He's grabbing my mic. Yes, thank you. You're too late. Nose breathing is bad. No, who said nose breathing is bad? No, nose breathing is good. Alright, next we will talk about versions of selves. So essentially, we should be like one energetic self, but when we were put into this physical body on Earth, our energetic bodies were fragmented and separated into numerous various bodies. So in the fourth dimension and upwards, we have the energy body, right? This takes energy damage. If you stub your toe, your energy body's got a stub toe. If you then energetically work on your stub toe, it helps your stub toe physically. If a demon lodges a pair of scissors, courtesy of your dad, into, this is astrology energy, I swear, into your left knee, then physically you now have a more rigid knee, potentially tendon inflammation, right? And then you won't be able to fix it. You will be able to massage it and things, but it will be much slower to fix physically, so you fix it energetically. That being said, other than those, we also have we've got the energy body, then we have the emotional body. This is where a lot of our emotional energy goes. Similar to the physical body, in that, you know, you get sad physically, you're sad emotionally, and then they hit your emotional body, you're sad in the emotional body, you're sad physically. It, you know, it's very strongly connected. But rather than just having everything pretty much set up in either the emotional body or the energy body, we are fragmented into what are called versions of selves, right? So these, if you've ever, for example, you may feel like you're a different person when you're in a certain environment. Your work persona, right, your work self, is usually a different person to who you are at home when you're sitting there naked, right? And that's perfectly normal because your people at work may not like the person that you are in your own house. Trying to think of a few other examples. Who you are with your children, your parent self, often very different from who you are with your friends. It's in general how it goes. So, to start with, we're going to start with a nice easy one. So this is going to be the social self. Essentially, this is the version of self that you use, and the way versions of self work is they are separated from you, and they will be often negative energy on them, and then as that is cleared up, then they will not just be a strong version of self that's separate from you, it will then integrate into you, and it will be another part of your, it will be, yes, part of your energy body and emotional body without being separate from it. If you want to, so for then, if you want to look at your social energy, which it won't be a social self, it will just be the social energy in your emotional body, you will be able to view it rather than it being separate from you. So the social self, this is the version of self you use when you go out and you talk to people, or if somebody comes to your house. If you are talking to someone on the phone, etc., this is a version of self that you use. Now, this is a very common one that's targeted. They try to give you anxiety when you're calling to make like a doctor's appointment for some reason, or a haircut appointment, whatever it is. You're like, why do I suddenly feel anxious? Because they're hitting your social self. People that have social anxiety, problems with talking in front of large audiences, yes, this can stem from trauma, but that trauma will usually be separated onto the social self and not on the emotional body or the energy body. So, this video right now, this will start working on the social self. You may start feeling anxiety. You may start feeling like you suddenly have to talk and do a group presentation. You do not. I'm not going to make you. You can if you wish. You can go right ahead, but you don't need to worry about it. Know that whatever you're feeling is just the energy purging, and relax through it. So that is the social self. Next, we'll do the water self. Now, Ivan, I saw him mention something over there. Here's a doctor. Ivan, how much of the human body percentage is water? I was going to look it up before this, and then I had to find my tripod and a bunch of other things, so I didn't look it up. But essentially, we have a version of ourselves, which is the water self. This is usually very heavily targeted by mirror energy, which is a reason I thought to do it while doing this video. That's because through the energetic connection of reflections between mirrors and water, water really retains energy, not as much as mirrors, but you're not going to bath in glass. And water has a much higher use. It's got a much higher base frequency and innate clearing ability, which glass does not have. Glass is just usually, smelted sand. It's not something that occurs naturally. Sand itself is, great, but glass, no. 73%, no. Nick says 73%, give or take. Ivan, the doctor, says 70%. So I'm going to say it is 70%. We are 70% water. And this 70% of water this does not show up in our energy body. It does not show up in our emotional body. It shows up in our water self, which is a huge problem because if we're made up of that much water and we're not seeing it energetically because we don't know we have to even look for it. And that's a big reason why they have segmented us into all these versions of self so that we are stuck not being able to find things. Then it makes clearing much harder. So this video will clear up your water self, especially from weaponized glass energy or mirror energy, anything that's come through mirror energy. Other things that could be in the water and water self. Often, a lot of people can relate to this. If you go to sleep and you wake up and you're dehydrated, like somebody just sucked the water out of your body, that's not normal. And that used to happen to me a lot, especially as a teenager and in my early 20s. Usually when negative entities are stealing your energy when you're sleeping, they steal a lot of energy from your water self, and you wake up really dehydrated because a large chunk of your energy, which was supposed to be there, is gone, and now you physically need water. So that's why we're doing the water self. Just like the energy body and other things, it gets targeted by pretty much everything. It's a really, really common thing that's targeted. Now, going through this video, depending on how much you want, you can say do all the selves, you know, as I'm listing them, or you can say, I just want to do the social self, and then when that's done, then we'll move on to the water self, right? It just depends what makes you comfortable. Me, I would say let's do them all, but I'm also able to see the selves and differentiate, so if you're not, then it's more understandable to not do that. I really hope this is legible when I'm listening to the... Stop purring into the microphone. This is legible when I am editing this. He's got a gold soul, by the way. He's so smart. He's so clever energetically. I never drank water until I was 16. That... We're an alcoholic. Next, we'll move on to the hop down. You're gonna purr into the microphone. Be good. There, you can go on my shoulder. Oh. Next, we will do the mirror self. Now, essentially we have a version of self, and some of these versions of selves are, I wouldn't say the mirror self is innately negative, but in this matrix, it's pretty much innately negative. It gets used against us heavily. Now, I've already integrated these versions of self, and I did this a while ago, but let me pull up someone else's. Essentially, the mirror self usually... This person's is really bad. Way worse than mine was. Anyway, so they'll separate your face into multiple different mirrors. Essentially, it's like your body is made out of a giant mirror, and then it's fragmented all over the place, and then the energy bounces around the mirror. It retains a lot of negative energy. The mirror self is one that usually has a lot of problems. An awful lot. Now, the emanations has just asked a very good question. I'm surprised my camera's still going. This is great. He's just said, do we have a higher self then? Is that a fragmented part of ourselves? And is communicating with our higher self safe, or can it be intercepted by negative entities? No, in my experience, having done this for 6 years, we do not have a higher self. I've never seen mine. Anytime I've seen a higher self, it's just been like their head demon, their head eldritch demon, their head prey mantis, their head dragon. It's never once been an actual higher self. So no. We have a water self, a mirror self, etc., etc. We do not have a higher self. And is communicating with this safe? No, because you're just going to have a demon who answers instead of your higher self. Can it be intercepted by negative entities? Usually it will be the negative entities. So no, the higher self, not so much. What's interesting, and this definitely happens, I will make a healing video and I'll talk about things that people agree with me, and then I'll talk about something which negative entities have usually put in a program to, or it's something they've already subscribed to, like they've believed in a higher self for 10 years, and like, no, but I don't understand, because the clown thing, that made sense, the mirror thing, that made sense, but the higher self thing, he can't be right about that. And the answer is, train your own energy. You don't have to trust me, but don't trust the higher self either, right? Keep a neutral ground, and then once you're strong enough, and you can verify it for yourself, then you can have the answer, not your answer. You can have the answer, right? So, mirror self, I mean, there's a lot of negative stuff there. It's pretty hardcore. Some people have a pretty big purge from clearing that. I'm really relaxed now. This is nice. I love my house. It's so much better having your own house. It's, well, on an energy level and on a physical level, but on an energy level, it makes everything so much easier. So much easier. Is there title self or profession self? Profession self would be work self. Doctor self, if you're a doctor, yes. Good, we'll move on. We're going to do 5 versions of selves. We're going to do the action self, and then we'll do the fear self. Now, the action self, this is essentially the version of self that actually does things. So, a lot of people experience and relate to this. Let's say you're out, especially if you're at the gym, and you're like, all right, when I get home, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And you're in a really action-oriented mood, right? You're going to be... I was trying to think of a verbose word for like actionated, but I can't. You were going to get an awful lot done. You were going to go home and you're going to do like 10 things. And then you get home and you're like, actually, I've already used up all my energy at the gym. And then you just go to bed, or you go and you read something that's not really that productive. And that's because your action self was getting, as you were moving energy through your physical body, it was moving through your energy body, your emotional body, and a lot of your aspects of selves, especially your action self. And then as you stopped exercising, that energy is no longer moving through, and the stagnant negative energy in your action body has now resealed, and you no longer have the drive to do what you were going to do. That's because your action self has been essentially, blocked. So this video will clear up the negative energy that's blocking your action self. Now, you won't suddenly, as you integrate your action self, be super gung-ho, but you will, when you're in that state, be more likely to at least do one or two things before you run out of energy, because we do have limited physical energy, and we do certainly use it up. And often when we're using it in a productive manner, we want to use it more, but it's just not how things are. At least not for me. If you're some like crazy reptilian CEO, yeah, you're stealing energy off everyone. But most people, we can't just go and chop down an entire forest in one go, even if that, seems like a good idea. Is the planetary energy at the moment causing procrastination? I would say no, but the astrology energy is making everyone purge a lot of deep-rooted traumas, especially family traumas. So that would be giving you fatigue, which would make you less likely to take action, and then you would be procrastinating, yes. The last one, and this is a very major one, is the fear self. Now, the fear self is one that gets hit by everything. Everybody wants to keep you in a state of fear. So fear self is really, really common when dreaming in particular. So I'll talk about this more. I'm going to do a video on dreams. I might even wear pajamas for it. I may not, but I'll do a dream video later on. But essentially, when you dream, your consciousness enters into your spine, and then it usually enters the central nervous system. If there are negative entity dream realms set up in your dream self or your energy body, but usually your dream self, then you'll often get pulled into them. And once you're in there, or you may be in a normal dream realm, and that's just inside of your body's consciousness, and then negative entities will enter, but they will often take your fear self, and smack it straight into your main consciousness, and then suddenly you'll feel an awful lot of fear. And it's like you, in that state, can barely remember a time when you weren't scared, because your fear self is the energetic manifestation of fear, right? It knows nothing but fear, and there's also anger self, there's other emotional selves. But the fear self is a very major one that gets targeted, because when you're in a fear state, your energetic resistance, your durability drops right down, things can feed off you much more easily. That's why they target you. So your fear self, usually it's full of implants. If you're targeted, if you're having a great life, maybe not. But it's usually full of negative energy, and it's one which is really pushed to the surface of your consciousness. They want to keep you in a state of fear because it is debilitating, and it's got a domino effect, right? The more fear you have, the more your fear self, basically the larger it becomes, and the more energy they then have to target it more, and then they spiral it to keep you in a state of fear. Fortunately, the fear self, it does actually help you. It's not just something which is always weaponized against you. So your fear self is supposed to, often, let's say you play a horror game, you're watching a scary movie. I can't relate to this much, but maybe when I was a child, if you are scared by something, right, you're playing the game and it's scary, and a video game, it may be scary for 10, 20 minutes, and then the fear completely goes away because you're used to it. You've seen the monster's eaten you like 8 times, and you go, I've seen the monster. And your fear self has become basically used to the stimulus, which is supposed to be giving you fear, and then you no longer feel fear, and it's like, why did I feel fear in the first place? And that's because your fear self is now used to it. It's comfortable with this, right? You're no longer in a state of fear because your fear self has deemed this fear safe, right? It's not something you need to worry about. There might be a little bit of fear in the back of your mind, but it's, on a positive level, supposed to help you identify things like, all right, is this thing going to eat me? Yes, all right, I should be terrified of this lion that's broken into my house, but lion on a movie that's eating someone, all right, it's gruesome, but after a few minutes, there's nothing to be scared of. The lion is not going to come out of the TV screen, and especially as a child, you do have to realize these things which are on monitors, they cannot come out and get you. No matter what your dad says, it's not going to happen, right? You're safe. And that's a big reason, especially as you become more grounded in reality and really know the rules of reality, right? That as an adult, it's a lot harder to get scared, because no matter how scary a video game or a movie is, it's not real. And even if it's based on a true story, or it is real, it's not going to affect you physically in your house, right? Even if, you're walking somewhere and you see somebody get hit by a train or a car, in your mind, all right, well, this train is not going to now do a loop and come back and run me over, right? You're still not in you still shouldn't be in a state of debilitating fear. You don't need to, sprint. The car, unless it's very unlikely, it's going to try and run you over. So you through your fear self, knowing the rules, it's not something you need to worry about. So, depending on how grounded you are and how pretty used to things, you can actually be of use rather than just being absolutely mortified that someone's just been hit by a train. So, as this goes through, the fear self out of these 5 cells, mirror self maybe, no, even the mirror self is not going to be anywhere near as bad as the fear self. The fear self is usually a really sucky one to have cleared and integrated into your body, but once it's integrated, it's a lot less harder for them to put you in an artificial altered state of fear. It's a lot less likely that you will wake up in fear when you've got negative energy around you, unless it's something you really should be scared of on a soul level, which is, fortunately, hopefully at least for you, fortunately not very rare. So for yourself, as you're going through, you may feel really cold in your physical body and your energy body. You may feel like teeth chattering, shakes. That's all normal as that fear energy comes out of you. And I had a lot of repressed fear from growing up, and most of it was in my emotional body, mainly because they found it more easily to weaponize it there than my fear self, but there will be quite a lot of fear stored in your fear self. Actually, I'll set this up now. Let's go. This video will also, opt in or opt out, it's up to you. This video will also clear fear from your emotional body. So let's make it a fear clearing video as well. Why not? Manic depression and fear. What a great weekend you're going to have. Can the fear self cause artificial pain? Fear self doesn't usually cause pain, no. Good. Any other questions about versions of selves, clowns, or mirrors? It's pretty much, I've got like 6 things written. That's all my dot points. Is numerology the language of this matrix? Language is a strong word, but it plays a really heavy part in this matrix, yes. I'll show you my other cat too. Where is he? Julian, come here. Come on. Now I have my own house. Nobody can evict me, right, for having too many cats. So I have a few cats now. Like, they're good. They really help a lot. When it comes to, I think I might have mentioned this before, but when it comes to us, when we sleep, our energetic resistance goes right down. And cats on an energy level, they don't sleep like we do. Their resistance never just goes, wow. When they sleep, their resistance drops down by about 20 to 30%, which means if they're in the room with you, it makes any kind of dream attacks essentially harder to do. Now, it mainly depends on the strength of the cat. Mostly on a soul level and then on an energetic strength level as you build them up. And as they try and build themselves up, come on. Oh. Having my own house is great, by the way. It's really, really good. Just as the video is going, try and make it go for an hour. Yeah, I did find out though, and this happened in Sardinia as well. Once I moved, my energy went, oh, this is the safest place you've ever been. This is amazing. Right, I can touch the walls. The walls are all my energy. It's terrific. My energy went, this is safe. All right, now we're just going to shut everything down. You're going to have very little physical energy, and you're just going to purge and mainly integrate and increase in energetic strength a lot. So the reason why I didn't make videos after I moved was because I was laying in bed, sleeping a lot of the time. I did not have the mental or physical, well, this doesn't take much physical work other than holding a cat, but I didn't have the mental stamina to really, make a coherent healing video. But now I do. It's great. It's great to have energy again, because up until yesterday, I did not, and it was very annoying. But, it's, in the present moment, it's annoying as your soul, as you go through an integration period, but then, in the long term, it's worthwhile. Can this clear glass energy? Yes. Yes. Correct. That's what this is. Is there anything we can do to keep energetic resistance high when we're asleep? Shielding maybe. Shielding helps, but on an innate level, actually, that's a really loaded question. The answer is yes. But I'll talk about it in the sleeping video. That's what I'll do. Is there a male and female self? That's also a very loaded question. The answer is, if you're a male, no. The thing is, if I answer that, there's quite a lot more questions. So I know, I do know the answer to it, but it's hard to answer it without giving me a lot more questions, and then we'd be here for, we'd go on a completely different tangent to something, very different topic. Does your shielding video only work when it's playing, or can I play it once before bed? Depends how under attack you are. The shielding video works while playing, yes. If it's not playing, it's not working, but it puts a shield up, which should stay there once the video is no longer playing. So, just pay attention to how things are and see how the shield is and the state of it. Is making a healing video more energetically stamina exhausting compared to working or reading and / clearing people on an individual client base? I would say this requires me to be more precise with my words. I would say that yes, this requires. I'd say this, doing an hour of this is equivalent to 5 hours of working on individual clients, is what I'd say. Is there a true self? Yes, there is a true self. I mentioned it in class 4. Correct. Your throat's getting dry. Does this have to do with the water self? Yes. As a lot of negative energy and a lot of water in your water self, which is full of negative energy, clears, it will clear. You will need to replenish your energetic water self by drinking water. And then once it's fully cleared, and for some people this may take 3 hours, for some people this may take, if you're really targeted, a few weeks. It's really, you'd have to be, your fear self maybe, but water self, no, that shouldn't take more than a few days at most. Then once it's in you, you should just see water. You'll say, show me my water energy, and then you'll see it in your energetic and emotional body. Does mania cause aggressive behavior, or is it still a person's choice to behave bad and harm others? Mania puts a thought in their head that they should behave badly, but then the person themselves, and it may be a really strong impulse, chooses to behave badly, right? They still make that decision. Be good. You gonna be good? He is camera shy. He's shy in general. Hey, 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 come on. Come on. He's not normally like this. He's very shy, aren't you? Your question is, so will you purge a lot? The answer is, look, if you have to go to work or anything, and you can't afford to just, be unfunctional, then, decrease the amount of clearing, decrease the strength of the video, decrease the amount it's clearing, so it will be more, so you'll be more functional during the day. No, I have no idea what that Indian word is, so no. Good. Go for probably 58 minutes. Is being able to move energy in more than a 700 meter radius impressive or normal? Well, when it comes to moving energy, physical space shouldn't matter that much. I mean, if that's your energy field, it's pretty good. But if it's just you moving, like you can move energy anywhere in the physical space, so not really, unless it's your energy field. How much video is your witch clearing video compared to your personal shooting video at protecting from witch attacks and curses? Much better, because it's designed exactly for the frequency that witches use. And I've got pretty, unfortunately, extensive experience with witch energy and witch curses, so yes, an awful lot better. It's also a growing video, so I update it every now and then. Good. So after this, I will make the video for energy training. We're going to start at class 1, right? We're going to start at the beginning, and then we will keep going and gradually get to more and more advanced things. So we're going to try that. I'm trying to not sneeze. All right, everyone. I will see you next time. Have a good evening.